Okay. Daily Parsha Insight for Thursday. We talked, for Wednesday. On the last verse of today's Chumash was in response to Moshe's request to see God's essence revealed to him. Hashem said, "You can't see my back, but you can't see my face."
This probably was the 50th gate, right?
I don't know. It's only necessary to negate something that is possible. I'm not going to go bungee jumping. It's possible. I'm not going to do it. But saying it's impossible, you don't have to negate. When God said, "My face may not be seen," he meant the workings of divine providence that can be perceived, but not directly. Meaning, to understand God in a totally transcendent way, like you're not built for that, right? You don't have even you can't even imagine that. But we're talking about divine providence, God's workings, inner workings, that, maybe the deeper understanding of things, you can get God's, there's maybe you have a chance to understand it, but it says you can't get it directly. To explain, there are two ways of grasping a concept: by understanding what it is, and then sometimes you understand what it's not to help you contrast. If a concept is within our sphere of experience, we can understand what it is. If a concept is outside our sphere of experience, we cannot understand what it is, but we can understand what it is not. We mentally remove it from possibility after possibility until by process of elimination, we gain a glimpse of it. Sometimes it's called in Hebrew shlila. Shlila means negating. It's not this. It's not this. You're not going to necessarily get there because it might be too lofty for your brain. But when you say it's not this, more crass or simple experience, you at least know what it's not, and you have at least like an inkling of it's something beyond. Thus, God's statement, "My face may not be seen," means we cannot understand God, divine providence directly. We can't understand why things happen. But we can understand it by negating what we know it not to be. God is not a fairy that, your fairy godmother. That's not what God is. It doesn't always have to make sense. But you rest assured that by knowing God's not your fairy godmother, so to speak, lahavdil, then you know a little bit God's much more real and much more has it all figured out on a higher level. Rest assured. So that's a little bit of understanding of divine providence that's couched in today's verse. You can't see divine providence directly always, but sometimes you can understand it indirectly by knowing it's not always going to be the simple Hollywood ending.